while celebrating the legends who made us laugh in the first place. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to present our annual Black History Month luncheon. And this year, we're honoring comedy greats, trailblazers who broke barriers, and funny bones at the same time.
You had to grow up early when we was growing up because your parents would send you to the store to buy. You was too young to buy. I want you to go to the store, give me a fifth of gin and a pack of cigarettes. Mama, I'm two. They ain't gonna let me have that. Here, take this note. You be a little boy walking down the street with liquor and cigarettes, and your neighbors be going, that's a good little boy right there.
We need a little levity right about now. So we're rolling out the red carpet for comedy royalty. D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Lunel, Dion Cole, Martin Lawrence, and a surprise guest appearance. It's going up Thursday, February 26th in downtown LA at the Grammy Museum. An unforgettable afternoon of stories, celebration, and yes, plenty of laughs. Because let's be real, these legends don't just tell jokes. They have changed the game, opened doors, and made history while making us smile.
You got to go to child support court. You got to get there real early in the morning. You see brothers going into court. You see them come out 3 hours later. I can't pay this. Let me talk to you, baby. Please, let me talk to the witness, Your Honor. Let me talk to the witness. Brother be working for 3 weeks, get his check is $43.
This year, for the first time ever, we have set aside a limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon. They are going to go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So if you want a single ticket, or if your company or organization wants to sponsor a table, move swiftly and get to KBLA1580.com right now. All these comedy giants in one room on one stage at the same time? Stop it! This event is going to sell out quicker than right now and sooner than at once. KBLA Talk 1580's annual Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. It's gonna be legendary, just like them.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
You got to laugh the pain away.
Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Never say die. Never say die. Keep on. Never say die. Like this. Never say die.
In the midst of sorrow, you can see up and down. A brighter day tomorrow will bring. You hear the voice of reason telling you this can never be done. No matter how hard reality seems, just hold on to the dream. Yeah.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, not in Washington today, but joining you right here in sunny LA in afternoon drive time. I'm in touch, so you be in touch. Follow me on all the socials at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. All you got to do is type in Dr. Nii-Q, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app if you haven't already. That way, you get to carry us right there in the palm of your hand. You can listen to us live or on demand whenever you like. Just download the KBLA app and tell a friend to do that too. Last but not least, subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way, you won't miss some of our most memorable conversations with so many of the leaders on the front lines that we enjoy being in conversation with. Speaking of folks we enjoy being in conversation with, in just a bit, you'll have a chance to tap into my conversation with Howard Bryant. He is the author of Kings and Pawns, Jackie Robinson and Paul Robeson in America. His book just came out, and folks are already buzzing about it. It's a story that I wasn't all that familiar with. that I was absolutely captivated by, and I have a feeling that you might be captivated by it as well. And so you don't want to miss my conversation with Howard Bryant. That'll be taking place moments from now. But first things first, it's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. If you are on the East Coast, walking through the snow, listening to us right now, there ain't nothing bad or ugly about this news. Punxsutawney Phil is said to have seen his shadow. You know what that means? Forecasting 6 more weeks of wintry weather. Punxsutawney Phil predicted 6 more weeks of wintry weather today, a forecast that is sure to disappoint many after what's already been a long, cold season across large swaths of the United States. His annual prediction and announcement that he had seen his shadow was translated by his handlers and in Western Pennsylvania. The news was greeted with a mix of cheers and boos from tens of thousands who braved temperatures in the single digits to await the annual announcement. The extreme cold kept the crowd bundled up and helped keep people on the main stage dancing. Usually guests can come up on stage and take pictures with Phil after his prediction, but this year the announcer said it was too cold for all that. And his handlers were afraid to keep him out too long. Instead, the audience was asked to come on stage, turn around, and do a selfie. I mean, you know, when the animal, Mr. Phil, is it? When it's too cold for him, you know it's cold outside. But 6 more weeks of winter, I think we can do it. But it's easy for me to say that sitting right here in Los Angeles. In other news, Bill and Hillary Clinton making some news today. Yep. The Clintons have agreed to testify. They've agreed to testify in the House Epstein probe ahead of a contempt vote. NBC News reporting that the former president and former Secretary of State have agreed to testify in the House investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Their spokesperson responded to a letter from the House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer, saying that the Clintons had negotiated in good faith and that Comer had not. They told you under oath what they know, but you don't care. But the former president and former Secretary of State will be there. They look forward to setting a precedent that applies to everyone. It was not immediately clear when and where the Clintons will testify. In a statement tonight, Comer said that while attorneys for the Clintons said that they agreed to the terms, those terms lack clarity yet again, and they have provided no dates for their depositions. The only reason they have said that they agree to the terms is because the House has moved forward with contempt. I will clarify the terms they are agreeing to and then discuss next steps with my committee members. That's what Comer said. So this hasn't happened before. Former president and First Lady / Secretary of State will be testifying. I'm hearing it will be behind closed doors. It's probably one of the highest profile testimonies that we're seeing related to the Epstein case. And I'm sure be all eyes and all ears. When we come forward, we're switching gears, and I'm really delighted to share my conversation with author Howard Bryant. He is, again, the author of this new book on Jackie Robinson and Paul Robeson. It's called Kings and Pawns. Talk about meeting the moment. It's a story that you're going to hear a lot more about, but I'm so glad you get to hear about it first, right here on A More Perfect Union. More when we come forward. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining.
What is this?
Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and really excited to be in conversation with my next guest, the one and only Howard Bryant. He is the author of a new book you can get your hands on. It's called Kings and Pawns, Jackie Robinson and Paul Robeson in America. Here to talk about that book and more is the author, Howard Bryant. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for this great work. For folks who may be less familiar, Kings and Pawns, it shines a spotlight on these two very transformative events that define not only the lives of these towering figures in our community, but also the soul of the nation. Talk to us about what drew you into this story of Jackie Robinson, the Great, and Paul Robeson, the Great.
Yeah, well, actually, in a lot of ways, it was a sense of embarrassment, to be honest. There were so many times that I have written about Jackie Robinson, so many times I'd read so many Jackie Robinson biographies, all the books. And I knew this. I mean, I knew that Jackie had testified against Paul in July of 1949 in front of the House Un-American Activities Committee. I knew that. And all the books talk about that for about a paragraph and maybe a page, if that. And then they move on. And I moved on. And then when I was working on The Heritage, my book in 2018, Black Athletes, A Divided America and the Politics of Patriotism, I went a little deeper into Robeson's 1956 testimony in front of HUAC when he was trying to get his passport back. The United States had taken his passport in 1950 and refused to reissue him a new one. And that book was all about the lineage. It was all about this heritage of Black athletic participation in the political process. That it's been a continuum. It wasn't just Colin Kaepernick, and it wasn't just, it didn't start, in 1968 with, Tommy Smith and John Carlos. It goes all the way back. And that was where I'd realized that Robeson was a part of this. We talk about Robeson as a concert singer. We talk about him as a foil to what Jackie Robinson had done. But you realize that this is not just 2 paragraphs in a book about Jackie Robinson, that this is a seminal story about 2 gigantic American figures who, by the way, had never met. So how could 2 men at that stature who never met be placed in opposition to each other in front of one of the most notorious government bodies this country's ever created?
Now, for our leaders, learners, and listeners who may be less familiar, who may not know this history, I just want to catch people up so that folks are following along. On July 18th, 1949, Jackie Robinson, who we all know as a trailblazing Brooklyn Dodgers star who integrated baseball, was also one of the most famous Black men in America at the time. And he,
that's right,
to your point, reluctantly testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee in Washington, D.C., and he testified discrediting Paul Robeson, who was a legendary athlete. You just mentioned, he was a singer and an actor. Robeson's testimony, it increased anti-American sentiment and violence towards Robeson. Robinson's testimony did that. And then 7 years later, on June 12, 1956, a defiant Paul Robeson, battered by McCarthyism, was barred from leaving the United States, and it was quite a fiery showdown that ensued. And so this was a story of really 2 very prominent Black men being pitted against one another.
Yeah, by the federal government. And I think what it is that you have to go back to World War II, where at one point the Soviet Union and the United States were allies in World War II. But once that war ended in 1945, the United States and the Soviet Union were adversaries. And so, depending on how old you were, I'm a Cold War kid. I'm one of those people that was, the Olympics was everything. It was always the United States versus Russia, the United States versus the Soviet Union. It was always that international rivalry between those 2 superpowers. Which one of us was going to blow up the world? It's a nuclear standoff for 60 years. And so coming out of the war, you've got a real Cold War sentiment now. The United States and the Soviet Union are mortal enemies. And anybody that did not go along with that was considered un-American. And Paul Robeson didn't go along with that. Paul Robeson was like, no, I don't have any quarrel with the Soviet Union. And in fact, Robeson's politics leaned more toward that. He was a democratic socialist. He was an anti-capitalist. He believed in the Soviet experiment in a lot of ways. And that made him a villain in this country. And so in 1949 at the Paris Peace Conference, he gives a speech where he is talking about how the Soviet Union, how the Soviet experiment is committed to integration and committed to fairness and committed to freedom. And he was quoted by the Associated Press as saying it is unthinkable that Black people would fight against the Soviet Union for a country that that has never respected us. That the Soviet Union has given us equality, and why would we fight? And so, of course, that turned the whole country against Robeson. And as we know, that the best way to discredit a Black person in this country is to have another Black person discredit them. And so the government really was looking for somebody, and Robeson was such a giant. Whose voice can we use to counter Paul Robeson's voice?
Mm-hmm.
Who's famous enough to counter and to parry what Robeson said? And so who was the most famous Black man in the country at that time in 1949? Jackie Robinson. And so the story to me was really, how did these 2 men be placed in this in this arena against one another? And it was really Branch Rickey, the president of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Branch Rickey implored Jackie to testify against Robeson for the good of the country, to show he was American. And those hearings that the Congress held in 1949 were to prove Black loyalty. And really, they were to attack Paul Robeson. And Jackie felt a responsibility. He felt a responsibility to Branch Rickey. Branch Rickey put him on. Branch Rickey integrated baseball. Branch Rickey's an historical figure. Jackie felt an enormous debt. Rickey was also his employer, so I'm sure there was pressure there for him not to say no to that as well. But Jackie also felt something else. And that's the piece of this that I do find fascinating. And that was also that Jackie believed that, I have a stake in this country, right? Jackie was also a conservative who believed, as his wife, Rachel Robinson, would say, my country, right or wrong. And he felt the same way the NAACP felt, the same way the Urban League felt, that getting civil rights in this country for us was hard enough. You can't align us with communism at the same time. And so you have a responsibility here to speak. Now, that's the title of the book. Was Robeson the pawn for the Soviet Union? Was Jackie testifying in service of segregationists that wanted to uphold segregation and Jim Crow? So the story is really all about these elements, about these tactics, about what we have to do to prove our Americanism, what we have to do to prove our patriotism. Is it possible to be a patriot and a dissident at the same time? There were all kinds of people who told Jackie Robinson not to do this. If you testify, they are using you. They are using you in service of segregation. But Jackie felt a responsibility, and then his legacy would never survive this in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways was disillusioned by doing everything this country had asked him to do. And then years later, during the civil rights movement, the very same people who said, as a Black man, you need to prove your Americanism and your patriotism and you're standing up for American values, as soon as he was asking for rights, they were calling him and the NAACP, calling them communists as well.
I mean, this is absolutely a riveting book. It is something that we should run and not walk to go get kings and pawns, because it really meets the moment. Just as you lay out some of the dynamics at play, not just between these two prominent Black men, but these sort of different schools of thought.
Yeah, these are the questions that we've been
folks.
dealing with. That's right. These are the questions that we've been dealing with. And it's very current to now. The number of people, of Black people who have said to me, and who are having this conversation around the country, we did our part. Let's sit this one out. You elected Donald Trump twice, right? We did our part. We have voted consistently against these anti-American sentiments for decades. This is not our fight. And Jackie Robinson was in the exact same position in 1949.
Mm-hmm.
That this was not our fight. Why are you testifying against one of the greatest Black Americans this country's ever produced? And Jackie felt a responsibility. And Jackie said it in one of his books, and I think it was in I Never Had It Made. He felt that if he didn't testify, then white people would distance themselves from civil rights, that there had to be absolutely no idea whatsoever that Americans were aligning themselves with communism. The same thing was true of Walter White and Roy Wilkins and Thurgood Marshall and Bayard Rustin at this, at the NAACP, that they decided as well that we have to isolate ourselves from Robeson. If we show any sort of support, or even if we choose silence, then our allies who are fighting with us, our white allies who are fighting with us for civil rights, they're going to run away from us. So part of this story, once again, as we talk about tactics and schools of thought, there was a feeling in the Black leadership that we have to isolate Robeson. And the price for that was the real rabid elements, right-wing elements, having open season on Robeson. By having Black people criticize each other publicly, that opened the door for the violence, the two very bloody riots, anti-Robeson riots in Peekskill, not 6 weeks after Robinson's testimony. Jackie Robinson did not destroy Paul Robeson's career. Paul Robeson's career was already in trouble. They were already coming after him long before Robinson's testimony. But what Jackie's testimony did do is it opened the door to more anti-American, to more anti-Robeson sentiment. And the government within a year had taken Paul Robeson's passport and would not return it for almost a decade.
Wow. Wow. These two moments really symbolize the enduring struggle, as you mentioned, with the Black American experience, really torn between patriotism and protests. And just as you were sharing that, I couldn't help but think about some headlines that are currently in the news cycle. I was just texting with Don Lemon yesterday, and he's been in the news quite a bit. Not just the subject of a flimsy Department of Justice investigation because of his reporting on the ground in Minneapolis at a church, but Nicki Minaj has seemed to, set her sights on him in a social media post that he's found, and so many other people has found to be, bigoted and homophobic, and seeking to sort of discredit him. Talk to us about this playbook, because it's not just about Jackie Robinson and Paul Robeson. We have seen this playbook employed to sow division amongst Black leadership and in the Black community for some time.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things that I say it quite often. The Black person willing to criticize another Black person publicly will have a job for life. That is a concrete piece of strategy. One of the things in the book that I wanted to focus on as well was this idea of our place in terms of celebrity. You go to the 1800s, you look at there's a great book called Pamphlets of Protest. You look at who were the Black thought leaders in the 1800s. And you're looking at the clergy, you're looking at intellectuals, you're looking at politicians, you're looking at the newspaper people, you're looking at, these are your thought leaders. And today it has devolved into celebrity. It has devolved into people who are far less serious and far less educated on the subjects, but have bigger platforms. And so much of what we're looking at in terms of who is doing our speaking for us, who is representing us, are completely ill-equipped to do so. And so the conversations have devolved to not to our benefit at all. And so as you begin to think about these different elements of the playbook, it is to the benefit of white, the anti-Black sentiments to have the less and less and less informed, but the more and more and more influential to speak for us.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A special city council meeting is set for tonight in South Suburban Harvey, Illinois, to appoint an interim mayor following the death of Black Mayor Christopher Clark.
Well, it's a very sad time for Markham, Harvey, and South Suburban area.
Clark passed away Friday at the age of 45. Faith leaders and advocates are gathering in Springfield, Ohio for a national rally opposing the possible deportation of Haitian immigrants. The Here We Stand Day of Action targets the Trump administration's decision to let temporary protected status for Haiti expire tomorrow, putting about 15,000 Haitians in Springfield at risk of losing legal residency. And the University of Iowa is reviewing 13 low enrollment majors, including African American Studies, Gender and Sexuality Studies, and Religious Studies. The Board of Regents ordered the review to determine how well the programs align with workforce needs, enrollment levels, and costs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Out to Duarte with a stall on the 210. This is making your way eastbound at the 605. Second lane from the left is blocked. That drive loads up out of Pasadena, getting away from the 134. Sepulveda Pass, 405 northbound, coming up on Getty Center. Another conked out car. 2 middle lanes are blocked here. And delays are pretty tough all the way from the 10 freeway. The southbound side of the 405, delays out of West LA from Santa Monica Boulevard in stretches to Palo Verde in Long Beach.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A year ago on this date, February 2nd, 2025, the Lakers and Dallas Mavericks made one of the most surprising trades in NBA history. Anthony Davis to the Mavericks in exchange for Luka Doncic. The trade ended up being a disaster for the Mavericks franchise. Davis has played in only 29 games for the Mavericks. The deal also led to Mavs GM Nico Harrison losing his job. Davis, once considered a premier player in the NBA, is now the subject of trade talks again ahead of Thursday's trading deadline. Doncic has become an impact player for the Lakers. He's played in 67 games and leads the NBA in scoring this season with 33.6 points per game. Doncic also is second in the league in assists with 8.8 per game. The Lakers front office is still smiling after convincing the Mavericks to make that trade. The Lakers wrap up their 8-game road trip Tuesday night at Brooklyn. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, KBLA delegation, you know what's better than laughing? Laughing while celebrating the legends who made us laugh in the first place. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to present our annual Black History Month luncheon. And this year, we're honoring comedy greats, trailblazers who broke barriers and funny bones at the same time.
You had to grow up early when we was growing up because your parents were sent to the store to buy. You was too young to buy. I want you to go to the store, give me a fifth of gin and a pack of cigarettes. Mama, I'm two. They ain't gonna let me have that. Here, take this note. You be a little boy walking down the street with liquor and cigarettes, and your neighbors be going, "That's a good little boy right there."
We need a little levity right about now. So we're rolling out the red carpet for comedy royalty. D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Lunel, Dion Cole, Martin Lawrence, and a surprise guest appearance. It's going up Thursday, February 26th in downtown LA at the Grammy Museum. An unforgettable afternoon of stories, celebration, and yes, plenty of laughs. Because let's be real, these legends don't just tell jokes. They have changed the game, opened doors, and made history while making us smile.
You got to go to child support court. You got to get there real early in the morning. You see brothers going in the court. You see them come out 3 hours later. I can't pay this. Let me talk to you, baby. Please, let me talk to the witness, Your Honor. Let me talk to the witness. Brother be working for 3 weeks, get his check is $43.
This year, for the first time ever, we have set aside a limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon. They are going to go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So, if you want a single ticket, or if your company or organization wants to sponsor a table, move swiftly and get to KBLA1580.com right now. All these comedy giants in one room on one stage at the same time? Stop it! This event is going to sell out quicker than right now and sooner than at once. KBLA Talk 1580's annual Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. It's gonna be legendary, just like them.
What's up? What's up? What's up? You got to laugh the pain away.
They call it progress, but progress has a price. Land once held in black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned, homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized, the families who watched their inheritance disappear, the wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories. If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
Hit me! National News The Consequence. Informed opinion. And analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
And so that's why you get a lot of these, it's a clown show. And so to me, one of the things that I always do is the very first question I ask myself is, why am I listening to you in the first place? Mm-hmm. I don't care how many followers you've got why am I listening to you in the first place? And if you don't know what you're talking about, then you're not really going to get a great deal of my time. But it is absolutely the playbook because they're the ones who made it. They're the famous ones. And this lean towards celebrity really does inform. It explains in a lot of ways who does the talking and who gets that platform, who gets to do the shaping for us. And we're at a huge disadvantage because of it.
It really makes me wonder, is this lean towards celebrity, is it cyclical or is it sort of
No, it's
here to
permanent.
stay? I mean, I certainly think of a few lyrics from Erykah Badu's Mama's Gun album that just turned 25, where she says in one of the tracks, her mother used to say, pick your friends like you pick your fruit. I always say, pick your media like you pick your fruit, because if you don't, you may consume some media that really isn't good for you, that isn't good information for your community, for your family.
Well, and we're moving into a period of, not moving into, we're in a period right now of complete misinformation. So even the information you get is not necessarily valid. And is it cyclical? Is it permanent? It's permanent for two reasons. One, because we have, this is the ultimate victory of the dollar. People are going to talk to whoever they think has the most reach. And right now, who has the most reach? But the celebrities. Celebrities always have the most reach. And two, because there is an assault on Black intellectualism right now. There's an assault on it. All of these media companies are doing everything they can. Like, look in my industry, in sports, the Black reporter, the Black male reporter especially, is a dinosaur. They're being removed in replace. Who are we competing with? We're not competing with white journalists. We're competing with with Black ex-players. And who's got more reach? I mean, how can a Black reporter compete with Charles Barkley or Shaquille O'Neal or Ryan Clark or somebody who played in the Super Bowl? So they're the ones who are doing the speaking for us. And the Black intellectual voice, the Black academic voice, the Black voice that is actually doing the research and has the journalistic expertise, that is being discarded on purpose, systematically.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hop on TV, when you look at sports, when you look at television, look at how many people are professional journalists and look at how many people are ex-players. And that will tell you exactly sort of where this wave is going and where it is right now.
Oh my goodness, you're absolutely right. Look, in our remaining minutes with you, I want to talk about the 1-year anniversary of Trump, his return to the White House, his second term in the White House. Yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary, and it has been an action-packed 1 year. And one of the very stunning realities that we're living in is President Trump's grip on Congress. Congress is MIA. Congress, as a co-equal branch of government, has abdicated so many of their duties and has deferred to the executive branch to our peril, especially when you consider these ICE raids and sort of ICE run amok. Talk to us about, what we can learn, what elected leaders and community leaders can learn from the period you write about to help us navigate the now.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. One of the things about losing my voice here, one of the things about this time period that parallels the book, and which is why whenever I was working on these paragraphs, I'm like, this feels like today, this feels like today, this feels like, and here I am writing about 1949 and 1950 and 1955, and it all feels like today because Trump is using the exact same playbook. And let's not forget that one of his mentors was Joseph McCarthy's lawyer, Roy Cohn. And so look at the anti-intellectualism, look at the attack on universities. Same thing was happening in the late 1940s, 1950s. Look at the attack on liberal politics. The exact same thing was happening. The loyalty oath, same thing that was happening back then.
February 4th is Transit Equity Day. To mark the occasion, Metro is offering free rides all day on the 4th. Providing safe, accessible, and affordable transportation is a commitment Metro makes year-round. Learn more at thesource.metro.net.
KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe
same thing was happening in the late 1940s, 1950s. Look at the attack on.
This is a community call to action from KBLA.
It all feels like today because right about to help us navigate the now.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. One of the things about losing my voice here. One of the things about this time period that parallels the book, and which is why whenever I was working on these paragraphs, I'm like, this feels like today, this feels like today, this feels like, and here I am writing about 1949 and 1950 and 1955, and it all feels like today because Trump is using the exact same playbook. And let's not forget that one of his mentors was Joseph McCarthy's lawyer, Roy Cohn. And so look at the anti-intellectualism, look at the attack on universities. Same thing was happening in the late 1940s, 1950s. Look at the attack on liberal politics. The exact same thing was happening. The loyalty oath, same thing that was happening back then. The closing the borders to predominantly non-white countries. That's the same as the McCarran Act, as the the Security Act of 1950. It's the exact same playbook. And so when you are thinking about what's taking place, people say, oh, this is unprecedented. We've never dealt with anything like this before. It's not true. He's using what is past his prologue. He's using a playbook that has absolutely been employed before. And even in the language, when you listen to him talk about, enemy of the people, that is the same as Joseph McCarthy talking about the enemy within. It's the same thing. It's the same anti-communist playbook from the McCarthy period. And so when you are trying to navigate that, you have to recognize that so much of what he's doing has been done before, and that's why you need to, you need to confront. You need to constantly be vigilant. How did the McCarthy period fall apart? Because it had run its course, because it had gone so far that finally you had some level of resistance. Sir, have you no shame? I mean, these are the moments where you have to sort of look, and also the capitulation of the public. At that time, they folded the same way people are folding today, that they just didn't believe that the United States was capable of turning on its own citizens. The United States wasn't capable of disregarding its own constitution. Black people know better. The United States has been disregarding its constitution since the beginning of the Constitution. And so I think the key is to remember not to be overwhelmed by that tidal wave, by making, and it's that shock and awe type of thing. Let's just keep attacking and making you feel like you have no power, when in fact you do.
In fact, you do. That's what we believe right here on A More Perfect Union. That's what we believe here at KBLA Talk 1580, the only Black-owned and operated talk station west of the Mississippi. Our thanks to author Howard Bryant. We want to encourage all of our leaders, learners, and listeners to go out and pick up this book, Kings and Pawns, Jackie Robinson and Paul Robeson in America. I promise you, it's a story that we don't know nearly enough about. Our thanks to Howard for joining us. Please come back again soon.
No, it's my pleasure. Call anytime.
You've been listening to and streaming A More All right. And so we have been in conversation. We've been in conversation with Howard Bryant. He is brilliant. He's a brilliant author. And again, run, don't walk to go pick up that book, Kings and Pawns, Jackie Robinson and Paul Robeson in America. It's a story that I certainly haven't heard much about, and chances are you maybe haven't heard much about it. Who's the king? Who's the pawn? Are these profiles in courage? Do they stand up against time or not? You get to decide. And so check it out and let us know what you think. But speaking of profiles in courage, if you were watching the Grammys yesterday, you saw at least a few. There were actually several profiles in courage. I was surprised and delighted to see courage center stage at the Grammys. I woke up this morning. It was hard to not think about folks like Bad Bunny and Olivia Dean and Shabuzi, among others who took to the mic to seize the moment. And Bad Bunny stood out to me and so many other people, not only because he won big at the Grammys yesterday, including Album of the Year, but because his message is really seen as having provided a boost at a very dark time for so many folks across America, particularly Latinos across America. The record that won Album of the Year at the 2026 Grammy Awards was Bad Bunny's Debí Tirar Más Fotos. I think I got that right. My Spanish is really rusty. And so, grace, everybody. Give me grace. But his album is the one that a lot of industry experts labeled as the most deserving and therefore an unlikely candidate for victory. And in the same breath, the Grammys, not a place historically known for fervent political messaging, just saying. It was filled with celebrities taking anti-immigration and customs enforcement, anti-ICE stances. Of the 9 televised awards handed out to 7 different artists, nearly half addressed immigration in their acceptance speech, but it was no accident. It was no accident. We saw a number of folks take to the mic and say something of consequence. And just to give you a little bit of backdrop, like, who is the Recording Academy exactly? Because I think a lot of people think that folks win Grammys based upon album sales, based upon how popular they are, based upon their campaigns to win and them being everywhere. And it's worth noting that in the past few years, the reputation of the Academy has been challenged as they've added thousands of new voters across various backgrounds. And the results are notable. 3,800 new Recording Academy members were added in 2025 alone. 3,800. So of the 15,000 members of the Academy, the Recording Academy, 3,800 new Recording Academy members were added in 2025. And of them, half, 50%, are 39 and under. 58% are people of color. 35% identify as women. And that's nothing to shrug your shoulders at. That's a big deal. It's not just the Recording Academy, but it is every organization that governs our lives, right? The people who are a part of that governing body, no surprise, they impact what that organization does. It impacts that organization's ability to be able to meet the moment and be relevant and to see and appreciate and lift up the lived experiences of the people that are in that organization's orbit. And so Bad Bunny is one of only a few Latino albums of the year winners. A short list that includes Santana in 2000 for Supernatural, and Stan Getz and Joyo Gilberto in 1965. And so there are a number of folks saying that this is really amazing for Latin music in particular. And so hat tip. And the album is also political. Its messages are not exclusive to Puerto Rico or even Latino identity, but he goes there when talking about race and migration. The lyrics on his album, they align with global struggles. And when Bad Bunny got up during the broadcast, and when he said that we're not aliens. We're not animals. We are human beings. We have families and we love our families. I thought it cut through the noise. I thought it met the moment. I thought he led with love. Similarly, Olivia Dean, who got up there after winning Best New Artist during the broadcast, she got up there during her acceptance speech. She reminded us that she is up here as, quote, a granddaughter of an immigrant, saying that she's a product of bravery and that she thinks that those people deserve to be celebrated. And then Shabuzi accepted his first Grammy with tears in his eyes, saying he wanted to thank his mom, an immigrant in this country, reminding us that immigrants built this country literally, actually. So this is for them. He thanked them for bringing their culture and their music and their stories. Backstage, SZA similarly, she cursed ICE and she stressed the importance of being able to disseminate mutual aid. And Gloria Estefan reminded us that she was scared. There are hundreds of children in detention centers, and she doesn't even recognize her country in this moment right now. And so for all the folks out there that say, well, artists, celebrities should be doing more, saying more, I just want to give credit where credit's due. We saw examples of that at the Grammys, and I certainly was happy to see it. And I'm encouraged by it, and I hope that you're also encouraged by it. You should also be encouraged by some late breaking news. Before we go, we got to give you a little bit of late breaking news. Axios and other outlets reporting that Haitians have won a pause on Trump's plan to end their protective status. We've been talking at length about the more than 500,000 Haitian refugees living under temporary residency in the U.S. Well, they can remain and continue working in the country. That's what a federal judge ruled just tonight. This is a big deal. It matters because temporary protected status, which provides short-term refuge for people fleeing crisis, it was set to expire for Haitian immigrants tomorrow, despite ongoing violence and instability in the Caribbean island nation. You better believe we're going to continue to keep our eye on this, but a little bit of encouraging news for Haitian immigrants tonight. Hopefully they can rest a little bit easy. We'll have to leave it there. My thanks to the entire village that helps us produce A More Perfect Union, including our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, Brother Andy, our show producers, Faraji and Art, and each and every one of you. Remember, don't panic, organize. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and you've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay lifted, y'all.